Hey, what's up, everybody? It's the Duke here, welcoming you back to yet another episode of the weekend wrap up. And I apologize in advance for the state of my voice. I strained my vocal cords a couple of days ago, and like most things, now that I'm getting older, they're just taking their sweet time to heal. So, forgive me if my usual dulcet tones are not quite up to par. So, this week we've got actually quite a bit to talk about. Some of the things that I've been working on haven't really done much with the printer, even though I know last week I said I was going to. I haven't gotten around to it. So, printer still, actually, you can see a few right here, just a few wires from the printer. So, printer's still out of commission, not currently functioning. But I think the week ahead, not to skip ahead to that part, but I think it's going to be much more printer focused, and I'll tell you why in a little bit. So I haven't really done much with the printer. Instead, I've been doing these things back here that you can see behind me, a couple of molds, and polishing sanding some dice. So first thing is these. So I think I showed these a while ago. Very very pink. These are essentially some actual resin masters that I made out of Shop J Dot's mold that I believe is a tin cure mold, because the dice that they printed for me were UV resin. So I know we've talked about this before, and I know if you're a regular watcher, you're like, yeah, I already know that, man. But it bears repeating because it is important. Tin cure molds, or rather UV resin, anything made with UV resin needs to be cast in a tin cure mold first, and only because if you cast it with platinum cure, it's not going to set right. So basically, it's a two-step process. If you're dealing with anything in UV resin, turn this down a little bit. It's very. By the way, you're listening to in the background. If you can hear it, let me show this off because it's pretty sweet. You're listening to the Fear Street trilogy. This is actually part 2, 1978. This was a pretty good. If it's on Netflix, in case you didn't know. If you're a fan of horror, if you're a fan of kind of 80s stuff, if you grew up like I did reading the Fear Street books as a teenager, I kind of first started with Goosebumps, from my friend and yours. Actually, I don't know the man. Our good buddy R.L. Stein. Started with Goosebumps and then kind of graduated to Fear Street and other horror properties, both written word and film and TV. So anyway, it's a good. It's it's not the. I don't even know if they had licensed music in those movies, but it's a good. It's the orchestral soundtrack to the film trilogy that's available now on Netflix. And so it's good music and it's a good movie. So if you have a chance, do check it out. And you're a fan of horror, check it out. Anyway, back to my nonsense. So these are the UV no these are the epoxy resin masters that I made in Shop J Dot's mold. I'm polishing them up right now. I think these are currently at, and I mean, not that you can see. I mean, they're a little cloudy because the surface has been scuffed, but it's with whatever the green. I think it's the green. I haven't gotten to the. So the green is missing from my polishing papers. So I've got 5 more grits to go to get them to 1 micron, which is just it's mind-blowing to me that this is, because this is the 1 micron paper. It's basically a rough cloth. Like, But the cool thing about this is that I've already worked through a set of these with the dice I got from John's 3D Prints and Dice. John 3. I forget the name of his shop right now. But those dice are actually sitting here in the first part of this mold. And if you can see, you can actually see light reflecting off. I mean, obviously you can see it reflecting off the surface of the mold because the mold is super smooth and shiny. But you can see it reflecting off the dice too. So that's super, super cool. And obviously I haven't cleaned this up yet. I just demolded this last night. So yeah, it's got some marks from my form that I need to X-Acto off before I pour the cap. But look at that. I mean, look at how shiny those are, and it's just resin. So yeah, they polish up real nice. Is what I'm getting at. So that's cool. So that actually took quite a bit of time. I've been working a lot on sanding and polishing dice lately. Made that mold. Another cool thing is this is my very first, as you can tell, it's clearish. This is my very first platinum cure mold. You can see the die faces there. And these are different dice that I cast in this. So the reason this is platinum cure, obviously I wasn't casting UV resin dice. I was casting a set of dice, and so one thing to note is that currently I've only got kind of sharp edged dice, and so I wanted to do typically what you see from like the big manufacturers, like I think the biggest one that most of you have probably heard of is Chessex. I have a lot of Chessex dice, and they do come out with some nice, some solid dice. And I found a set that were kind of lightning-y fonted that are... I don't want to say the name because I definitely don't want to give any recognition to this person. But so I'll be very vague about it, but I'm sure you're going to pick up what I'm putting down. It reminds me of the font from a certain English boy wizard and his adventures. And so I was like, oh wow, there's still a lot of people on the internet that like that stuff, or rather have fond memories for it. They either still like it, in which case, yikes, or they have rather fond memories for it, and they're like, you know what? I liked this before the creator became a human pile of garbage, or at least before the creator exposed themselves as a human pile of garbage. And so, you know what? It's like I can separate the art from the artist, at least in my memory, and all of that time and money that I've spent on that is already spent. I can't take it back. So I'm going to continue to enjoy this in my memory. So kind of the thing that I'm doing with those are it's a homage. It's an homage, right, to that time, because I was a fan too. I absolutely was a fan. I still have a coffee mug that is one of the four, kind of factions from the place of education in those books, in those movies. Because I did the dumb thing where it was like, oh, what do you identify as, and blah blah blah. Best one, of course. I'm not going to say what it is, but their colors are green and black. So, yeah, I mean, I understand that sort of like, hey, this was cool. I was a fan of this, even though I'm not anymore, and even though I'm not actively giving any money or recognition or time to new stuff. I can still fondly recollect and remember the old stuff that I enjoyed as a child, as a young adult. So that's kind of what I'm trying to go for with that set, or this set that I've molded, and I actually have, because I'm in the process of, now these are very rough because when they came out of the mold, there were some issues with some bubbling and with some I believe the term is flashing that didn't quite come off. So I've had to sand these are very rough sanded. In fact, the grit I'm using right now is 120. So I'm not quite yet at the polishing stage with these, but let me see if I can. The D12, you can see them more. If I can kind of show you if you can see what the numbers kind of look like. So I mean, yeah, there's the. So you can kind of see, hopefully, you can kind of see the font that it's. Yeah, it is very reminiscent of the English boy wizard and his adventures in Magic Land. Oh, missed that one. I have to redo that one. I found a bubble. So anyway, so that's what I've been working on. I've been making molds. I've been sanding dice. Yeah. Here's one that you can see. So this is the big one, the murder weapon D20. Look at how shiny that is, y'all. Like, do you see the light? Do you see the shop light reflecting on the surface of this die? That is polished. Like, it's not, obviously it's not mirror polished, but good Lord, it is so smooth. So smooth. I like this a lot. I don't yet have anything big enough to mold this into. That's kind of where the 3D printer comes in. But looking forward to molding and recasting that monstrosity. That should be cool. Okay, so I'm coming up quickly on my time, so let me transition real quick to looking forward. So like I said, printer stuff. It's mainly going to be rewiring the printer and setting up the fans and making sure everything works again. I just need to, I need to take the time and learn how to crimp those wires, because I've got one side of them, but I've got the female side figured out, like locked down solid. But the male side, I have no idea how to do it. I've never done this before, and it's not intuitive. So I'm gonna have to do some research on ye old internet and figure out how to do that so I can actually do it, and then get that rewired and get that back up and running, because I want to make some mold forms. I've got the files all ready to print, including for this big one right here. I've got the files. I just need to print them and then actually use them. So because I've got a badass that actually works. I've got a super cool pressure pot now. Yikes! Sorry. I've got this beast of a pressure pot here. Where's my logo? Ha logo. So I've got this now. So I want to use it, and so I've got the files for forms that are like pie shaped, that will hold a full set of 7 dice, 8 if you cram them in there. A whole set of dice that you can make 4 of them. And you can put 4 of them in the pressure pot at once, and that's even without any weird like tiered layer structure that you put in the pot. So you make 4 sets of dice. Boom, done. Looking forward to being able to do that, and then start producing products that I can then put up in the store and have you all of you fantastic party people, go in there and do your internet magic and send money, and I receive your money and I send you goods through the magic of the Postal Service. So looking forward to being able to do that. So that's the week ahead. Yeah, I hope you've had a good week. My week has been productive, and my weekend is going to be relaxing, because I don't want to do anything this weekend. Well, maybe that's not true. I'll do something this weekend, but it won't be work related. It'll be more like around the house related. Like, it's getting warmer. We might be doing some planting, because we've got some stuff that we need to plant. So that might be fun, something to do with the kid. So now we've reached the part of the show where I ask you a question. And I think my question this week is, what does it take to make you feel productive? Like, do you have to finish something, or do you just have to make headway into something, or is it reaching a milestone or a goal, or like what do you how do you feel productive? Is the question. So I will leave it at that. I hope y'all have a great weekend, and I will talk to y'all again soon. Thanks. Peace.